Welcome back, millennials. It's always good to have our presences grace each other. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe. Hello. And whether or not you're new to the channel, do not forget to hit the bell notification button, because apparently, and I don't know how true this is, but if you hit it, you get notified every time I upload a new video. And for research purposes, you should test that out. So go ahead and hit it. Also, follow me on social media. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That is at A Millionaire across the board. I post videos on weekdays on TikTok and Instagram, so be on the lookout for those. And then you can find that through the hashtag EDM by KDM. Last, but certainly not least, I hope you're all celebrating each and every day, because that's important. And if you're finding difficulties doing that, big steps. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. All right, moving on. Today is Be a Millionaire Day, and as a millionaire in training, I'd like to offer my 2 cents. And that is that wealth and money are not the same thing. And I say this because being broke and financially deficient are not synonymous. I know that's a lot to unpack, I know. You could be 100K in debt through credit card companies, right? Be in the negatives in your checking, be in the negatives in your savings, owe the entire world and a half money and still be wealthy. Because wealth is a mindset. It really is. And that's why you have some people who laugh at the phrase, money can't buy happiness, and then others believe it wholeheartedly. I think both approaches are flawed, because there's a lot to unpack there. That phrase is the SparkNotes version of this, in my opinion. Money makes the world go round, but it's not everything. So if you could sort out your financial miseries, will the rest of your ducks be in a row? I think that should be the question, or I think that should be the implication, because I think a lot of people hear it and they're like, oh, money makes the world go round. Like that, I could solve a lot of my issues. If you are wealthy in every other area of your life, and the only thing that is setting you back from being happy is the fact that you haven't paid your light bill and you don't have the money, then of course money's gonna help you, duh. But if you are struggling, with your mental health, your physical health, you are struggling with your relationships, you are not a great person, whatever that means, you're not a great person, and you have all of those things, and on top of that you haven't paid your light bill, then guess what? Money's not going to buy you happiness, because once you have the lights on, who's sitting in the house with you sharing the lights? And so if God forbid you fall terminally ill, right, and you have all the money in the world, the best medicine that money could buy, but now that medicine starts to fail you, who, if anybody, will be around your deathbed? Or who's in your corner? Who, regardless of how much money you have or don't have, will be there with you till your last dying breath? I think that's important. That's one of the things that I consider when I consider wealth. I'm not thinking about finances. I'm thinking about wealth, like being rich in relationships, being rich in health, being rich in experiences. I saw a quote that mentioned all of these things. I'm probably gonna touch it somewhere, but this quote, it said, I want to be rich in health, wealth. I'm gonna touch it somewhere here. It's gonna be here. But I agree with that wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly, I agree with that. Let's say you and a group of friends are at a restaurant, the best restaurant that money could buy, the most expensive restaurant that money could buy, like literally, the flavors are melting in your mouth, right? Are you guys enjoying each other's company? Or are you there because one of you has money? Are you there because you can financially? Are you wealthy in that company? Like, are you laughing at the top of your lungs? Because for me, my friends need to be eligible to work at a circus in order to be friends with me, or I don't want it. That's a criteria, and they all fit the bill. So I'm trying to be, yes, of course, I want to be with my friends at this upscale restaurant. Like we've made it, but I'm trying to laugh too, because what are we doing here if we're not laughing? I'm telling you, as a person who comes from extreme poverty, I don't want to say never. I'm saying never. I have never been moved by money enough to the point where my internal wealth feels compromised or I give up my internal wealth. And I cannot imagine a world in which I begin to do so. And I don't want to. Even though it's a factor, I'd be naive to say that it's not a factor. That I'm not gonna sit here and be like, money is nothing. No, money is important, but it's not the most important. And while it's a factor that definitely solves a lot of problems, even when I needed it most, I was still happy. Was I stressed a little bit? Yes, bank in the negatives, bank account in the negatives. Okay. A few overdraft fees.
Damn.
Yes. But at my core, I'm like, I'm still happy. I'm still enjoying the sun. I'm living every moment. I'm enjoying the little things, very little things, you know, because the bank account was in the very littles. I don't know. I was just, there was a wealth from within that even though the money was not there, I was wealthy, and I am wealthy. Because it's a mindset. I'm telling you, it's a mindset. And of course I can't force everyone to think like that, but for me, I know that it's a mindset. Like, I'm not floating in money. Like, I don't have Diddy money, okay? Like, I don't have Elon Musk, Bill Gates money, but it's gonna catch up eventually to the wealth in here, and that's all I can ever hope for. Because if it catches up to the wealth in here, oh my God, please, I'm gonna be rich. So something that has really solidified this for me is that I've started dating, and it's a learning curve on all fronts, especially on the finances and how finances play a role in partnerships, because that's important. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has always had an opinion. But I think because of social media and just, you know, technology, those opinions are a lot more accessible. So it's probably not that people have more opinions now than they did in the 80s, because I highly doubt that's true. I just think we have it within the snap of a finger. So if Sally and Joe were thinking something, they can just tweet about it and you know instantly, as opposed to waiting for their smoke signal or their letter to arrive in your mail. And that's just really what it is. But this topic of finances, you know, 50-50, how much a man should be making, how much the woman should be making, how much people in general should be making, how much, I don't even know, like people my age who are making loads of money, and it is, you know, it's something that you're like, you see that and you're like, oh my gosh, like, do I need my money up? Like, what's going on? This mindset has helped me a lot with that, because there are a lot of people my age who are financially in a place where I'm like, wow, like I would love to be there, but I'll get there when I get there, right? And so I say all of that just to make this point. As a 24-year-old who graduated college 2 years ago, I do not expect anyone in my circle, especially a partner, to be financially abundant. That's not an expectation of mine. Like, I know we have people our age who are doing the thing, get your money, big up to you, but the average person, or at least in my radius, is not making all this money yet. You know, we're millionaires in training, you know what I'm saying? So while I don't expect them to be financially abundant, I do expect them to have a wealthy mindset. A mindset in which the finances will catch up to it and not the latter. So let's use men for example, right? There is nothing that a man with only financial wealth could offer me that I cannot offer myself. I can do it. Like, I've got this. I'm very expensive. And the things that I require, money have nothing to do with it. You can't cash that out at an ATM. You can't get a cashier's check for that. It's just, it's time. Time is a very important currency to me. It's the most important currency. And money can't buy that. So if you're not willing to spend time on me and with me, then what do I need the money for? If that's something that I have on my own, like, well, what are we doing? You don't get time back. That's why I argue that that is my most important currency, because that is the one thing that depletes and depletes and depletes, and it never replenishes. Whereas finances, girl, boy, person, you could, real estate, this, that, you know, financial freedom, there are hundreds of books on how to replenish your money. Get your money up, get your money up. You can get that back. You never get time back. So that to me is a much more important currency. So if the people in my circle, we have all this money, but we don't have time to spend with each other, we don't have health, we don't have experiences, what is the money for? What is the money really doing? Like, you could have all that money and still be broke. You could still live in poverty. Even with all that money, all your basic needs are taken care of, all of your wants are met, but you're still broke. I say this with two experiences in mind. I had an experience with a guy who was financial freedom this, financial freedom that, passive income, blah, 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 how to get rich, you know, blah, blah, all of that, all this big talk, making money. And he, by the second date, was asking me for gas money. He was stingy with his time, and he lost the chivalry that got him the second date to begin with. So it was like taking myself on a date, and the only difference is that there was a body occupying the seat where my purse should have been. Bruh. And so I had this other experience with this guy who took me out to the movies, and he took me bar hopping, And it wasn't until much after the date that I found out that he's actually he has no job. He's a student with no job. So I don't know how he made the date work, but he did it. He gave me his time, did not ask for money. He treated me like a princess, and he did so within his means. That experience for me was much better than the first experience that I described. Not because of money, but because the person was genuinely invested in me, and the person was genuinely, you know, like he didn't have all these coins, and he wasn't boasting about how much money he's making and all of these passive streams of income, but he did what he could within his means, and that to me meant the world. And this is why, to give you a more basic example, imagine someone is drinking their absolute favorite drink, right? They're drinking their absolute favorite drink. You come and you're like, oh, that looks good, like, you know, but they're on their last sip, and you're like, can I have some? And they give you their last sip, and you're like that was good, like, you know, like you feel good. Now imagine that same person, you go up to them, you're like, oh, could I have some? They're like, oh, roll their eyes, suck their teeth. They're like, I'll just buy you one. It's like, I could have done that myself. It kind of loses that specialness. Like there's nothing special about you just buying me another drink, because there's no value to it. It's just like the others. Whereas the other one, it was a little bit of you. Like it was, you know what I'm saying? It's more about the thought behind it. So when I say I'm expensive, I mean that, because there's no amount of money in the world that could make up for someone spending quality time with me. There's no amount of money in the world that can make up for someone nurturing my hobbies, my passions, and everything in between, making sure that I'm okay. You can't put a price on that. I just cannot fathom a reality, for me at least. I cannot fathom a reality in which I put a price on that. And that's wealth to me. Once financial wealth catches up with the wealthy mindset, oh my God, you're a force to be reckoned with. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like you're lethal. That's a lethal combo right there. Like, and so I'm not saying that I don't want financial wealth. Don't get it twisted. But what I am saying is that the people in my corner, especially in my age range, do not need to be financially abundant, at least not in this very moment, because they make me feel rich already. Aww. They do. And we're also millionaires in training, so we better have the best of both worlds, okay?
I know that's right.
This next message is from my husband and my husband only. Babe, if you're watching this, you need to get your money up, because we need to be in the higher tax bracket at some point. But until then, make sure your mental is worth the million, because that is priceless. And that concludes this video. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you have a great day, evening, afternoon, whatever it is where you are at the time that you're watching this. Have a great one. Bye. Thank you for watching.